Hello, this is Gemma from the Crafty Little Gem, and thanks for joining me today. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based here in the UK. And a while ago, I just put on a little short of a chocolate advent calendar that I had designed, and today we're going to make it. This holds 24 little chocolates. It doesn't have to be Lindor. It holds these ones, anything with a 1 inch or above diameter. And I will just close it up very gently, and I will show you the front as we are using the Joy of Noel stamps and dies. So that is the front. Okay, so we will start creating this today. I'm going to take it steady. This is how I came up with, that's just a prototype. This is half of the side of the box that we are making today. I didn't think you'd want to sit and watch me make two. But first of all, we need to do a little template. You can take a photo of that. That's how your template should look. You're going to need to use this for all 6 of your shelves within the box frame, and this needs to measure 7 by 4. So on the 7-inch side we need to score at half, 2, 3.5, 5 and 6.5. Turn it to the 4-inch side and we need to score it at half, 2 and 2.5. So I'll just take my scoreboard out the way. You will need a 1-inch hole punch, and with your 1/2-inch score line at the bottom, I'll just bring that back in. So there's my 1/2-inch score line at the bottom. You're going to take your circle punch. I push mine right in, but you're aiming for the middle of each one of them 4 squares. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. And that will be your template for all of your shelves. However, your shelves do need to be a little bit, 1/2 inch longer on this side. I'll pop those there. And we will bring it in the shelves to start off with, because there is 6 of these to do. I have already done 5. Just wanted to get the other ones out of the way. We'll bring the other ones in. So these are the 2 that are going to go on this right hand side. So I'll pop them there. I'll just find where the shelves part are on my instructions, because I do like to type them up and then have them handy to one side. So on the 7-inch side we are going to score at 1/2 inch and 6.5. We're then going to turn it to the 4.5-inch side. So we've got 4.5 by 7. So we have added that 1/2 inch onto the bottom. So we are scoring at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 2.5 and 3. So we can pop that out of the way. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fold and burnish all of our score lines. So what you'll find is on this, you won't have any score lines in between these. I mean, you can do it if you want to, that's entirely up to you, but aesthetically pleasing, I think it's better not to have the score lines there. What we're then going to do is turn over the half extra bit that we've got at the bottom. We're going to turn that over and we are going to lay our template on top, and it should fit like so, and then you're using each of the holes just to punch it over where they need to be, and we have this left over. So the next thing we'll do is we will make this into a shelf, and we are going to cut away that bottom corner and this bottom corner, and then we are just going to cut up and wedge in the smaller sections, going up. On the shorter side again, we're just going to wedge in the smaller section, so cutting up the score lines and then wedging out to create little tabs. Again, this then becomes our longer tab. Fold it over and just apply your adhesive. In this case I'm using Tombow. And all you're doing is adhering both sections to create like a tunnel. And then what we can do is fold the two big flaps back, the little ones go in, the bottom one wants to go over first, and then we have the top section going over so it's nice and smooth. And because you've got that hole there, you can actually just squeeze in. We will repeat that on this side. So if you want to fold all of them out, the two little side sections go in, the bottom one goes over first, some adhesive on the top section just to bring it into line, and then pop your finger in that hole and make sure it is adhered nice and tight. So we will have 6 of those, so we've got 3 for each side. So that is your shelves. We're then going to come in and we are going to cut a top and a bottom. Again, I've already done one just to save a little bit of time, and so you've got a template to work with. So we are going to cut the top and bottom like that, and it is just a basic shadow box. So we have got 7 1/16, so it's 1 after the 7 but 1 before the 7 1/8, and then we have 4 3/4. Just trying to find out where it is. Top and the bottom, 4 3/4. So on the 4 3/4 side, we're going to score at 1/2 inch, 2 1/8, 2 5/8, and 4 1/4. We're then going to turn to the 7 1/16 side, and on both sides we're going to score at 1/2 inch, just down to that second score line. I'm then just going to flip mine over and do exactly the same down to there. Pop that out the way and fold and burnish. And then with your longer scissors, these partial marks just down to that second score line, we are going to use them as cutting guides. So down to there, and then from where you've cut, you're cutting out. And you're actually cutting that score line away. So cutting down that score line, turning all of that underneath, and then cutting away at the next angle. So we should have that. So I am going to just pop these down. And I was doing it that way over there. So on the inside, I am going to apply some glue to the short side. And then you can just fold that little 1/2 inch up at the bottom. And it'll pop back up. So again, open it up, apply adhesive to the inside of that shorter tab, fold to the bottom up and close it. There we go. I'm just going to pull that one over to this side as well. And pop those out of the way to dry while we do the sides. So we are going to bring in 2 pieces of card. Again, I've done one and we're going to do the other one together. Remember, you need 2 of each of these because you're doing 2 sides. So this is how it will look with 2 little tabs on the end. So this one should measure 8 by 4 3/4. And on the 4 3/4 side again, we are going to score at 1/2 inch, 2 1/8, 2 5/8, 4 1/4. We're then going to turn it to the 8 inch side and we are going to score at 1/2 inch and 7 1/2. Again, we're going to fold and burnish on all the score lines. Like so. And the ends. And then some cutting can be done. So it doesn't matter whether you do this side or this side, but you're going to mirror it on both sides. I just tend to work this way. So I've cut up, so I've got 2 squares, the longer piece, and then a square. I'm going to cut all of those away. So I'm left with this. I'm then just going to cut that last little bit of a square away. We're going to do the same. So that's that little bit of square. Cut into that to make it into a tab, and then we can cut all of that away like so. And again, we are going to adhere those down to create some tubes. So again, on the inside of the bit that you've cut, fold the bottom bit in, and then you can bring that bit over. Oh. What's happened here? Not enough glue. There we go. Then you can just pop it. We're going to do exactly the same to this one. So on the inside of the bit that you've cut, fold the bottom one up and then fold it over so it meets up. And there we go, that's that one. So you should be able to, again, fold that once it's dry. And this one. There we go. And we are going to now pop everything onto our base. So our base should be 7 which is our, so that is our 7 side by 7 1/8. What you actually want is the 7 1/8 to be from left to right, and you want the 7 to be from top to bottom. You need it to be longer in the middle. So what we're going to actually do is we have our top and our bottom that we angled. So grab your adhesive of choice. On this section, as you can see, we folded that bit over. Apply your adhesive. I did just spread that out a little bit more. I'm sorry if my head gets in the way. And all you're going to do is match up your ends. Don't worry about any of this easing through, because we have got some DSP that we are popping on the back. And let that sit. We're going to do the same with the bottom before we put the sides on. I don't really think I need to push that out to the edges, but all you're going to do is line up the sides and this back bit to the edge of your card. So that's them two in place. And then what we can actually do is, being very gentle, we can push those out of the way while we pop these side bits in. So the first thing I would do is make sure you've got your top and your bottom. That is my connecting bit there. So that is my bottom. And they are going to fit. If you turn it to the side, pop those out of the way. And again, you're just going to match up that side and that side along. Oh, I've pushed it out of the way again. Along there. And make sure that's connecting up. Once it is, pop it flat. Make sure it's not on any of them score lines, and pop it down. We're going to do the same with this side. If I can, that's the bottom piece there. You could, if you wanted to, fold it flat and get it within them score lines. Along that side. But just make sure you can pop it back up. There we go. So I'm going to pop that back. So now if you turn it back to the slanted bits at the top, we're just going to work on one side, top and bottom, and then the second side, top and bottom. And the first thing we're going to do is put adhesive on these tabs. I'm then going to go in and pop a little bit of adhesive just on the inside at the top and at the bottom, and then you can just bring one side in and then the other side in. like so. Make sure your corners and everything are all nice. Again, this top section, we're actually having a frame on. Okay, that's looking good. So again, this side, adhesive on these side tabs. At this side and this side, I've just popped a little blob. And we can bring them both in. It is not as fiddly as what I'm making it out to be, I promise. And that is the basis of your box. So you'll need 2 of these. The next thing we're going to do is pop some DSP in. And, well, let me just get to my page. This should measure 5.5 by 5 3/4. You want the 5 3/4 going across. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring the box in and we're going to have it more towards the top. You're going to have a bigger gap at the bottom, but we're putting a shelf there. So don't worry about that. Again, grab your adhesive. Make sure you've got your paper the right way. I'm going to pop that in. So I've got a slight border just around 3 of the edges. I have got my shelves. One is going to fit in, and it will be a tight fit, is going to fit in right at the bottom. So we're covering up that gap. So what we're doing is putting adhesive on one side, across the main part and one of the other sides. This can get a little bit messy, but again, like I said, we have got a frame going round this outside. And this bit's easier to do if you've actually let the frame sit and dry. So I would do the frame, put your backing on, and then I'd do both sides, and then I'd do all of the shelves. So while you're making the shelves, the outside is actually drying. So the next thing is we are putting the other 2 shelves in. I've got my T-ruler, but you can measure, it really doesn't matter if it will just sit there. Grab another shelf, glue on all the same sections as the other one, and you're looking at putting it at 4. You want the top of it to rest at 4. So I'll just bring that out the way. I'm looking at about there. I know the other side's probably got glue all over it, but I can just rub it away. And the best thing with a T-ruler is you can just bring it up and you can scoot it all the way across to make sure it's level, and that is. So we have the last box to put in again. I normally choose the side where the connecting bit is to be the back. Get your ruler, and this time it wants to be 2. So you're looking at about there. Oh, stick your fingers. And then pop your ruler down. You can then lift it and then just make sure you go across and that's it. That one is in place too. So we have 3 of the three of the DSP that will go on each of the shelves. This should measure 5 7/8 by 3/8 of an inch. Okay. And then a little tiny border all the way round. Too much glue in that side. So that's 1. Oh, this glue's coming out thick and fast now. Two. And 3. Like so. I mean, you can pick obviously what DSP you want and what colour cardstock you want. Make sure your corners are all still intact after you've done all that work. And then we can pop that out the way. I do just need to get a little bit of the DSP that I'm using. If I can quickly find it. Or I'll be opening up another one. Here we go. So this is the one that I'm using. It's got all like little goldy flowers and everything in it. I absolutely love this, and it's in the sale, like I said. We are going to cut our frame and this needs to measure this needs to measure 6 13/16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's 1 after 3, the 3 3/4. The 1 after the 3/4, sorry. So it is there. 3 before the 7, guys. Turn it to its side, and you need to do 6 7/8, which is 2 before the 7. So that is the widest section. So that is from left to right, and the shortest bit that way. Let me check. Yes. So that one, that way, is wider. So that's the left to right. What we're going to do is we're going to line it up on the 3/8 of an inch mark on the right side of the board. And I will get my heading on this one, I know I will. And you're going to concentrate and bring it down to 3/8 of an inch on this side. So it's just 2 before the half. And you're going to bring it down to just 1 before the 6 1/2. Oh, you're going to whiz it round, and we're going to do that on all 4 sides. So measure in 3/8 of an inch there. Because this goes to 6 7/8, sorry, we're going to bring it in to 6 5/8. And then we're going to do that all the way around again. So pop, because there's little tabs on these sides, and then you can bring that down to 1, 2, so the little tiny one before the 6 1/2, And we have the last side. So that's going in there. And then with this one, all you really have to do is connect up the two cut edges. And that is your frame. So what we're going to do is bring this in, and we can pop this on as we want. So remember, it's wider than it is taller. So where I've got my fingers is the bottom. Up that side. Or around half an hour, that's not too bad, to be fair, for a project like this. Pop that in so you've got a nice little border all the way round. And I've done that to actually include this little shelf. There. And that is that. The next bit, we'll be decorating it up. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to have one side that is plain. I'm going to grab the other side. Make sure both sides you've got the holes to the top. So that's going to be where my hinge is going to be. So this one's going to end up being my front. Your hinge piece should be 3 1/4 by 7 1/16, and on the 3 1/4 side you're going to score it at 1 5/8. So that's going to be down the middle, and we're actually going to adhere that to that side like so. So fold and burnish. I am going to bring one side away, and I'm going to just do one at a time. Make sure it's coming right to the edge, and make sure that score line is flush with this bit here. So when you fold it back, and then what you can do is you can bring the other side in, fold this back. Don't put adhesive right to that score line. Pop them together, and then we can fold that one over, making sure again it's coming to this edge and it's sitting nice on both of those sides. Make sure they're level, because this will be your front for you to open up with your chocolates in. As you can see, I've started decorating the sides and the top on this. I'm going to do the front and the back after. Make sure you get everything lined up. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring our base pieces in. And with your pattern paper going the way you want it, I have got, all I've done is done all the top and the sides the same size, because it's literally like 1/16 of an inch out. And these should measure where are they? Top of these should measure 6 7/8. This is the layering piece underneath, sorry, so my gold piece underneath it should measure 6 7/8 by 1.5, and then the pattern paper should measure 6 5/8 by 1 3/8. And you obviously want the papers to go in the way that your DSP is going to go on there. So I'm going to get them stuck down, and then I will also be back. Go get them stuck down. You'll then need 2 pieces of the front and back that measure 7 by 6 7/8, and that's the layer at the back. The patterned paper, you will need 6 3/4 by 6 5/8, and that is obviously going to sit on the back. I'll get them stuck on. You'll need some ribbon underneath here to be able to secure your box together, and then I'll also be back to decorate up the front. Hi guys, so we are back to decorating the box. I've literally popped out and got extra ribbon and bits that I needed, and obviously organised as ever. I'm just going to cut 2 pieces of quite long ribbon, and I will share the dimensions with you in a moment, because it doesn't really matter how long you want them to be. So that is 9, 10, 11. So that's 11 inches, and you want that twice. I'm actually going to layer up with some more ribbon, and I'm actually going to use a bit of green. This has got a bit of gold going through the middle, so this is just from my stash, like so. So there's our ribbon. So I've applied the pattern to the side and to this spine, so it opens up like that. So we are going to put our front and back on, but first we need to do the ribbon. So we're just going to take some double-sided, and I am just going to guesstimate the middle. You can do this however you please, and I'm actually going to go in with the largest one in the middle. I'm going to go in with a different colour right underneath, and then I'm going to go in with my thinner one on top. I'm then going to grab a top piece of that to go there, and we can take that off. I'm then coming in with my layered and my designer paper. I'll have all of the measurements in the description, because I know it's a lot to take in for this project, and I really wanted to get this finished today. So that's the front. We're going to turn over and do exactly the same to the back. 2 pieces of double-sided, and because you've actually got where the ribbon is on there, you can try and match it up the best that you can. So again, that's kind of where that colour is. The green one goes underneath, and the thinner one goes on top. Grab your double-sided and peel that off. Make sure you've got your pattern going the right way up, and then I'm actually going in with just some Tombow, making sure my patterned paper is the right way up, and adhere that into place. That becomes the back. So now we've got a nice ribbon closure. I'll do that at the end, when I've taken the photos. You can do 3 bows, which is what I like, or you can do 1 bow with all 3 of the ribbons. So then I am coming in with my detail, and this is the Joy of Noel. I have stamped and die cut this out quite a few times. I'll put in the description box again how many times. And I am going to go in with the dimensionals. So first of all, I'm putting 2 dimensionals on the back of the first one, and I'm having that at the top, and I'm concentrating on these there because I don't really want it to go over the box. So then a dimensional just on the bottom, that's more than enough. And then I'm actually taking these 2 and the top of that leaf to the bottom of that leaf there, and I'm just going to start to bring it round. So you can skip this bit if you like, but it is just literally a dimensional on the back, that one on there, bringing that round slowly. So that's 3. This is 4. Make sure it's on the bottom. That is 5. It doesn't matter if it comes off the edges of the sides, it's just the top and the bottom you really don't want it to be going off. So there. Bringing that one up to there. And it actually makes it look so nice. And it looks like it's got loads of layers to it and you've done loads of work, but you really haven't. So that one there. And I find it really therapeutic in colouring in. So we have got a few more left, and all you're doing is adding it to the top of the next one, where I'm at, there, and there. You can bring it in if you need to, which I did there. My wreath isn't going to be that round. And I have practiced putting this on a couple of times. And then you want to be able to lift that one up and pop it there. Keep this bit up, and you've got one more. You can take your time a little bit, it's just I am very aware of how long this has taken so far. So that is my very wonky wreath done. I then have some gold, brushed gold die cuts, and that is in the Noel and in the little foliage. And all I'm going to do is pop some of those behind, so I'll do that off camera. However, the Noel, this is where the mini dots come in to play. Oh, get off, that's it. And I'm just going to pop that where I want them. Again, you don't need many at all. I'm only putting probably 2 on each one of these. So literally just one at the top of the E, one at the bottom. And then the last one, which is the L, up there and there. And that's going to go there. So I'm going to carry on, and I'm going to pop these in where I want them to be, or where I think that it needs a little bit of extra. I'll come back and I'll take a photo. That is the chocolate advent done. I hope you enjoyed it. Please have a go. Please think about doing likes, and I'll pop some pictures up, and I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Thanks ever so much for bearing with me, and I shall see you next time. Bye bye for now.